In this video we're going to be looking at how to conjugate regular present tense verbs. There are three types of verbs in Spanish that end in AR, ER and IR. Infinitives in English normally are made up of two words. If you look at the examples, you can see that the two words always start with the word to speak, to dance, to study, etc. In Spanish, we have one word that either has an AR on the end, an ER on the end, or an IR on the end. And these endings are really important because they dictate what's going to happen to the verb next. So, to make the present tense, to talk about what you are currently doing right now, there's three steps. The first step is you need your infinitive, so that is the version of the verb that ends in AR, ER or IR. And the first thing you do is you remove the AR, the ER or the IR and you add on the correct ending. So if you look at the table below, if you are talking in the I form using yo, then you take off the AR, the ER or the IR and you add an O. If you're talking in the U singular form, tu, you add either as or s to the endings. If you want to talk in the he, she form, which is él or ella, you add a or e. Nosotros, that means we, you're going to add amos, hemos or imos. Vosotros, you plural, ais, eis, is. And ellos or ellas, the they form of the verb, you're going to add an or en. Now let's see this in action. Here I have three verbs for you. I'm going to start off with hablar, the AR verb. So the first thing we do, that's our infinitive, that's step one. Step two is take off the AR and we get what is called the stem, habla. Now if I want to say I speak, that's yo, I look at the yo endings and we get an o, hablo. Now in Spanish we don't have to write the word yo because the ending tells us that it is an I verb, so I'm not writing down the beginning bit of the verb. So to get the second part of the verb conjugated, I've got my stem, back to habla without the AR, and you add the AS to the end. And I can keep going, following the table for the he, she part of the verb, the nosotros part of the verb, the we part of the verb, the you plural part of the verb, and the they part of the verb. So these are the endings that I've added on. Okay, now let's look at an ER verb, comer. If you think you've got the hang of it by now, pause the video and try and write it out for yourself. If not, keep watching. So we take off the ER off of our infinitive comer, to eat, and we get the letters C, O and M. Now if we look at the ER verb ending list, they're very similar to AR, but there are a difference, so we need to be careful. The first one is, however, the same, como, tú, comes, él o ella come, nosotros comemos, vosotros coméis, y ellos comen. So there you can see the endings. Okay, last one for you, the IR verb vivir, to live. We take off the IR and we get vive, and then we add on the correct ending for IR verbs. Again, really similar to ER verbs, but slightly different as we move down the list. So far it's the same, but here is where the difference will be noticed. Vivimos and vivis. Those two are different, but the last one, dead similar. I recommend that you learn these endings off by heart in order to conjugate present tense verbs. So, give it a go. Here I've got 10 questions for you to conjugate. Press pause now and try and write your own answers. Okay, let's go through it. So, I eat, the verb is comer, to eat. So we take the infinitive, we take off the ER, and we add the correct ending for I eat, which is an O, como. We eat, same thing. Take off the ER and we add emos, because it's an ER verb. They eat, comen, en for they. Now we've got a slightly different verb, speak. To speak is hablar, so our stem is habl, and he speaks, third one down the list, habla. I speak, hablo, and you plural speak, hablais. Be careful, obviously there is a you singular, that's the to form. They speak, hablan. Now, to live is vivir, so I live, vive is our stem, vivo. She lives, vive, and you singular live, vives. So how did you do? Give yourself a mark out of 10. There are some irregular verbs in Spanish. These are verbs that do not follow the pattern that you expect them to. For example, ir, the verb to go, looks as though it's an IR verb, so should use IR verb endings. Unfortunately, it's different, and you have to remember that the verb is voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van, etc. Tener, the verb to have, starts off as tengo, and then changes to tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. It's irregular. You'll need to make sure that you know them all. Ser, to be, soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. Estar starts off estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, and están. And hacer starts off as hago, and then haces, hace, hacemos, hacéis, hacen. So as you can see, there's some similarities in the patterns, but not exactly the same as the verb endings that you've just seen. I suggest you make a note of these separately and look up the full conjugations online.